Hey, I'm sorry, am I supposed to be a wrinkly, shriveled and die at 30? Like, what the what? Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. My name is Calandra. You're watching CTV and I'm back with another video. And today's video is going to be about 28 life lessons that I learned throughout my 20s, because my 20s was crazy. Okay, like my 20s has been so unexpected and I've learned a lot. I've grown a lot. I feel like I'm like a 20 something year old teenager just because I know I don't have it all together, but I still learned a lot of stuff and I still am applying that to my life. So if you're younger than me in your early 20s, these are some things that y'all need to hear and things that y'all could learn from, and yeah, just get a little bit of a old lady's perspective, because y'all think everybody old these days. Number one, your childhood best friends or friends that you even make along the way in your 20s may not last. It really depends on the friendship and the people and everything. Everybody's different. Some people are friends with their childhood friends all the way till the end of life, pretty much. But for me, it wasn't like that. And for a lot of other people, it's not going to be like that. Making friends in elementary, middle, and high school, or even early 20s, depending on your mindset, is as simple as, oh, we have similar aesthetics, let's be friends. Okay, we're into the same things. Oh, it's lit. Which, yes, that can be the start of a friendship, but that doesn't mean that y'all are meant to be friends because y'all have certain similarities. Being an adult is just a lot more details that you have to pay attention to when getting to know a person or when calling a person your friend, your spouse, etc., etc., that we may overlook when we're children. Because if you're under 18, you're a child. Pretty much any friend that I made when I was a child, I'm not friends with no more. And I needed to not be friends with no more. Being friends with the wrong person or people can be actually very dangerous. And I could get more into that. Yeah, I just feel like in adulthood, you're more responsible for everything that goes on in your life. When you're a child, you're not really responsible for the people that you keep around like that. Like, you only your parents are. Your parents may tell you, "Hey, that person is not a real friend," but it's only you that has to realize that. That's what I went through when I was a kid. Like, I was friends with somebody and my mama did not like that person, and I thought my mama was just talking to talk, and the signs were there, and I noticed the signs were there, but I didn't think it was a big deal until I got older, and then I realized like that she's right. Like, these people are not my friends. And your parents are telling you that for a reason, but it took me to become an adult to actually see what she was talking about and see what to look for in a friendship. And now I apply that to my current friendships, and I'm still learning. I'm still learning to also assert boundaries and all these other things that I'm going to get into later in this video. Just because somebody looks similar, has a similar aesthetic to you, or is into the same music as you, doesn't mean that they have the same core values as you when it comes to how to be a good person, or even relationships. Like, how do they go about relationships? Like, everything. Like, when you're friends with somebody, their character really does matter more than the outside superficial things that, the little small stuff that we pay attention to in the beginning. But their core values is what we begin to see further on in the friendship, and that's when you become the judge of whether or not you continue the friendship or not. Time moves fast, okay? I feel like once you're under 18, it seems like time just moves regular. Like, I feel like my childhood was so long and dragged out. Like, I couldn't wait to be 18. And ever since I turned 18, I would say maybe even 21, my 20s went by so fast. Years are just starting to feel like 5 months. You know what I'm saying? Like, every year just goes by so quickly. And my parents would say that, like, when I was a kid, like, time goes by so fast, and before you know it, you're gonna be an adult. And they were not lying. Like, how am I already almost 30 years old? Like, I feel like I'm not really growing. Like, I feel like I'm growing so slow as an individual, but the time is moving like so fast. Like, even thinking about it, like when you're going to work, right, you have a whole work week. Just like that, that work week is over with. Then you have your little weekend, and then your weekend is over with. I would feel like my weekends back in high school went by so slow, and just like the timing just felt normal. But to these days, it just really doesn't. And that's why it's very important to just live in the moment and don't take your time for granted. Like, this is something I'm really learning, discipline and everything like that. When it's something you want to do it as soon as possible. Let's just do it right now. If you have an ambition or something, or a dream that you want to, or something that you really want to do with your life, don't waste any time. Okay, do not waste any time, because you may think you have time, and you do, but you don't know how much time. A minute to me feels like a millisecond. Be frugal but not cheap. That's something I'm learning. Sometimes we may overspend, sometimes we may underspend. As an adult, you have to realize the value of your dollar and the value of the things that you buy. Because some stuff that we be spending our money on is not worth it. For example, let's say, I talk about clothes a lot because I'm just somebody who loves clothes. Okay, so let's just say, for example, you're looking for a nice pair of jeans that, and this may not be important to you when you're young, but when you're older, you're gonna understand. So let's say you're looking for a pair of jeans, right? And Shein, okay, I'm gonna just say Shein has, the type of jeans that you're looking for. But those jeans may be cheap. They may be like $10 or something. And I'm not saying that Shein don't have good quality stuff, but the $10 jeans may last you maybe a couple washes, right? And then you got a pair of $50 jeans at, I don't know, like Levi or something like that, right? And you don't want to spend that money for them $50 jeans, but them jeans may last you years, right? And I think that $50 is worth spending more than that $10, just for you to end up buying it again anyway, or buying that more expensive thing later on. So in the end, you're spending more money. Or gas. Like, let's say gas at Chevron is more expensive than Arco. I put $30 in my tank at Arco. That may run out within a couple of days. But I go get gas at Chevron for $30, and my tank may not be as full, but the gas lasts a little bit longer. So if 3 days had passed, it barely budged. It's still at that little center, right? And then I go towards the week, and then the gas is probably at the same level that the gas would be at Arco in 3 days, but it's a week. Does that make sense? Am I explaining that right? So yeah, like, it's about learning the value of things. It's sometimes, cheaper is not always worse. Okay, you can find a good quality item for a cheaper price than overpaying for something. Just like, let's say, for example, you get like a name brand item, and you realize it wasn't really worth your money. Okay, the quality is subpar, and it is only that expensive because of the brand. But then you go to Amazon and you get something similar, and it's the same quality, and you paid less. So being an adult is just realizing what's worth spending your money on. Cheap does not always mean better, but more expensive does not always mean better either. It's like, what is valuable. Don't rush into marriage or kids. I know I got married at a young age, and it's working for me as of right now, but that doesn't mean it will work for you or children. Just because it's popular to be, you know, a mom, a dad, whatever, like, people are just popping out babies left and right, doesn't mean that you should. Sometimes marriage and kids is not for everybody, and a lot of cases have shown that lately. There's a lot of things going on in marriages, and a lot of things going on with children that are very disgusting and unacceptable. And I don't know, do y'all want me to talk about something specific? But if you know, you know. And yeah, just be aware that whatever you do, there's going to be something that comes with it. Marriage is more than a wedding. Children is just more than cute. pictures of a little child. That's all I really have to say about that. Yeah, just because social media makes something look a certain way doesn't mean it's easy in real life. And it will change your life drastically. Do what works for you. I'm not gonna have like much of an explanation for every pointer, but for this one, just because you see something work well for somebody else doesn't mean it will work for you, which was kind of what I said about the marriage and kids thing. Just because you see maybe somebody in a happy marriage, happy relationship doesn't mean it's your time to get married or to get in a relationship. And just because being a parent may seem easy to one person doesn't mean it's easy for you. So you have to be the one to have that type of judgment about your own life and know what works for you as a person. Like, I would say my job, right? I make my current job work for me because of the ambition that I have to get through it. But for the type of person that I am, I know that my current job does not align with me, which is why I'm doing something like this and I'm doing other things that align with who I am as a person. But there's people at my job who live for it. They put a lot of importance into the job. They take a lot of pride into the job. And my job is pretty much stalking, which is cool, but I also do other things like processing clothes and working with a truck and stuff like that. And I am a lady. And I'm not saying girls can't do it, because we can and I can, but it's really rough on my mental health. And sometimes I just have the days where I don't have the capacity for it. And along with my job, I also got to help customers and deal with a lot of other things that a person like me who's very anxious, antsy, and my emotions are up and down, and I just like to chill. Like, I'm just like a laid back person, but I have to force myself to be fast paced and force myself to deal with criticism and force myself to deal with a lot of chaos on a day-to-day basis. I know that's not going to work for me in the long run. And it's barely working for me now. I just know that I am money motivated, which is why I am making it work. But y'all shouldn't be like me and force yourself to do something that doesn't work with your personality. So I say do whatever works for you, whether it's outward appearance things like how you do your hair. If like you have a certain head shape, maybe you got to try certain hairstyles. It's just stuff like that. If you know that you're a laid back person, you're non-confrontational, you probably shouldn't work at places like Walmart, or you probably shouldn't work at places like fast-paced restaurants or fast food. If you're an introvert, you probably shouldn't work in clubs. Just things like that. It's like you gotta find what matches your vibe and what will work for you in the long run. Your interests, your personality may change often and drastically throughout your 20s or even throughout your life. And one thing is, like, when I see my parents or like people that are like in Gen X, people that are older than millennials, right? They be stuck in their ways, right? And y'all ever notice that about your parents as a millennial, or even in somebody that's a Gen Z person? Like, y'all ever notice that about the boomers, the Gen X? Like, they're just kind of stuck in their ways. I don't understand that. Like, I get that we come about our bad habits even at a young age, right? But once you learn that certain things in life does not work for you and you see the consequences of it, would you not want to change? I mean, for me, I changed drastically. Like, I will be interested in something one minute, and then the next minute I'm just like so cringed by it. Like, oh, I was into partying and drinking when I was 21 years old, but as of recently at 28, I really do not like the club anymore. I really don't like to drink anymore like that. And it's just a lot of things that or don't interest me anymore, and I feel like I change every other week. Like, I change every other month. I'm just like, I was, I'm thinking, that hairstyle was cute on me, and then 2 months later I'm like, whoa, what was I thinking? My style has changed. Like, a lot of stuff that I thought was so cute and I thought was so cool is just not cool no more. And that's gonna happen to you as you age. And it's a little scary, but I embrace it I embrace it. I really do. This one is a hard one for me, but it gets easier. Because a lot of stuff that I went through in my life is teaching me to do this thing. Okay. So learn to assert your boundaries. When somebody, does something that makes you uncomfortable, it's okay to be like, hey, I don't like that you're doing that. I don't like that you did that. I am not comfortable. When people touching you, to just be like, don't touch me. Like, but it's not as easy, especially if you're not a confrontational person. And I'm still learning that. And I have to deal with that in a work environment where people are just kind of like very sensitive and just kind of are in their own, or are older and they are stuck in their ways. So when it comes to certain things, it's like I'm learning to assert my boundaries with people, with friendships. And one thing with asserting your boundaries is when you don't want to do something, when like, hey, your friends want to go out to the club, but you don't feel like going out to the club, don't go, right? Your friends want to go on a trip, but you can't afford to go, don't go. It's okay. Like, we're not here to please everybody, okay? We can only do, but so much, or whatever we feel like we can do and what we're comfortable with. That is a very important lesson. Like, that is something very important. Like, learning to say no and learning to assert your boundaries and understanding when something is not okay, and when somebody does something to completely disrespect you, or you know, do something that you don't like. It's okay to not associate with that person. It's okay to not want to be around certain things or certain people because you know your boundaries and you know what you're comfortable with. So it's okay to assert that. It's okay to live in that truth. I definitely need more of in my life, but that's traveling. Well, I mean, not everybody likes to travel, and I think one thing that slows me down is my cat, because I don't like leaving my cat, but it's also hard to like bring him with me in some situations. I'm on the other side of the coast, so I don't really have nobody to watch my cat or anything like that. So I don't really like to leave him no more than a week. But yeah, that's one thing, and finances is another thing too. But you should definitely travel. I think we live one life. Life is short. And once you travel, you can just see, like, even if you just leave your city, right? You could be in the same state, but just leave your city and go on a little day trip. You could just see life and how people live. And it just opens your mind to like, damn, like people really, live like that. Like everybody is different and the world is so different and people speak different languages, have different cultures, different weather. And traveling just gives you a better insight of the world and a better understanding of how people are and what people go through and how people live. And it just gives you a better insight on how you want to live and what you should bring into your life. And I think traveling is something everybody should do. A change of scenery, I think, is great for your mental health. Even if you don't go too far, even if you just go to one state or one island or just something, you should definitely travel more, especially in your youth where you have energy to go on these flights and do this and do that. I just think you should, and I definitely should as well, because I don't even have a passport. Like, that has to change. This one is something that I've learned, but don't apply all the time, okay? But it's okay to be sober. It's okay to not have to be on a substance to live life. For somebody who loves their tree and has been using tree for a long time, and I will admit that, recently, like when I turned 27, 28, I have come back from it naturally. Like, I naturally just lost the urge to do it every single day. Because I don't know, like, I just really, I guess I'm in a point in my life where I want to focus and I don't want to be on a substance all the time. And then every high is not the same. Like, yes, I have good ones and I have bad ones, and I don't like the bad ones. And that includes any substance. I think you should be comfortable in your own mind, in your own headspace. If you feel like you constantly have to use something to alter your headspace, then something isn't right. Okay, there's something that you have to work on within. It's something that you have to change, because why do you feel the need to constantly use a substance over and over again and never be in your complete sober mind? It is a little, it is a little questionable now you really think about it. Like, why even though tree has so many benefits to me, and tree is amazing and all that, why do I feel like I have to have it all the time? Like, what's wrong with my own sober mind that I have to use tree 24/7? So yeah, like, that's something I had to think about, and that's why, I try to balance, not like, I try to not use it so much. I try to not use it so much unless I'm in a point where I just kind of want to feel it, but I don't do it every day. And yeah, same with alcohol, same with everything else. Like, I don't think you should want to alter your headspace so much, because it could mess up your headspace. Drugs can actually physically affect you and mentally affect you. And alcohol, like, I've seen how it affected so many people. I literally had a coworker who is no longer with us because she had an addict. Like, I don't even want to talk about it. And this was like back a couple jobs before, but it's like, real, like, if she, if only she wasn't like using so much, like, she would still be here. But just because she drank too much, you know what I'm saying? So I'm just, is it really worth it? Like, and if you're addicted, please get help. Like, please get help. And I know this is a deep topic, but I just feel like, you know, we shouldn't be using substances like that. We really should not, especially, and we shouldn't really be using them at all. Okay, but whatever got you into it, you were in a dark place in that moment. But you are responsible for getting out of that dark place, and every dark place in your life is only temporary. Only if you allow it, though. Because that one thing that you claim saved your life is keeping you stuck. And this kind of goes into what my last point, but take care of yourself. Your health is not going to be the same as it was when you were younger. You know, nothing will be the same. Nothing. Your skin, your skin is not going to be the same. And if you don't take care of your skin, or you're using things you're not supposed to be using, you're going to mess up your skin. You're going to get premature wrinkles. You're going to look bad. Your hair is not going to be healthy. Your hair may start getting gray. You may start losing your hair if you don't, sleep enough, eat right, all that good stuff. And that stuff I really need to apply in my life. Like, I don't sleep. I mean, I'm a person that I don't sleep. I don't really sleep that much. And I'm trying to work on it, because I know there's a difference from when I actually do go to sleep and when I don't sleep. And that's why I don't get up early, because I don't sleep as much, And it can affect you mentally as well. Like, just take care of yourself, because stuff can go wrong when you're an adult, and can go really wrong. Like, you can get cancer, you can get, and stuff is happening at a higher rate now with people that are younger and that are our age. So, people may make fun of you or have something to say about the way you eat, but eat right. Who cares? You gotta live in your body. Whatever you eat, they don't. Whatever they eat, you don't. So it's like, why does it matter? Because health issues can happen in your 20s. Health issues can happen in your 30s. Especially women, you have to. Like, I think we're more sensitive than men when it comes to our bodies, so we have to take care of ourselves. Okay? Even better when we're an adult. Because, like, as a kid, maybe we can get away with more stuff. I think as a child, it does start early. Like, you should be eating healthy when you're 5 and you're 15. But at 25, it really does matter. So, yeah, eat right, work out, all that basic stuff that you hear, just do it. Your weight also changes. Yeah, if you were skinny your whole life, you may not be skinny for the rest of your life. Luckily, I'm still slim even though I want to gain weight, but I'm not as skinny. I'm not as small. The waist ain't as small. So yeah, your body gonna change. Okay, your body is going to change. Your waistline is going to change if you don't take care of yourself. But it can't change because you're getting older. And your metabolism slows down. Keep your plans to yourself because people really do be wanting to see your downfall. And you know, like, not everybody is going to be happy for you. And a lot of people may want you to do good, but not better than them. Just become successful at something and see how people really treat you. Like, people may seem like they down for you and they rock with you or whatever, but once something good happens to you, see how they really treat you. But when it comes to something that you're working for, keep it to yourself because that can block your blessings, to be honest. Especially if you have like an idea of something or you want to invent something or just something big, right? Something that maybe nobody has done before. And you have an idea, but you share it to your peers, you share it with your peers for whatever reason, right? That one jealous person, that one person, that's going to take an opportunity to one up you may steal your idea and then they blow up, but it was your idea. You know what I'm saying? And then you're gonna look like the bad guy for saying, hey, that was my plan. Like, nobody gonna believe you. Like, what? So I don't know if I explained that right, but keep your plans to yourself. Keep your plans to yourself. When it comes to my job, I should probably talk about this later. But I remember I was talking to my coworker, and she was talking about, how long she's been with the company. And I said something simple like, oh, yeah, I don't plan on being with this company this long or whatever. Like, she been with the company for maybe 7 years. I'm like, oh, it's been one. Hopefully it don't get up to, but I wasn't saying that to be shady or nothing like that. I was just saying, like, I don't want to be here, year after year after year. And she did something to sabotage me, okay? So I go to use the bathroom a little bit before my shift ends. And I was in there for a minute because honestly, like, that day I was emotional about something and they were like playing with my schedule or whatever. So I go to the bathroom and then I come out and then I realize, oh, I they cut my, just to find out after the weekend was over that the girl was taking pictures of me in the bathroom to try to say that I was hiding in there for an hour. And yeah, like, I could give y'all more details later on, but she was trying to get me in trouble, basically. And yeah, that's just an example of, like, you be telling people like, hey, you could tell people a little bit of your plans, your insight, and your aura just shows that you're meant for better things. But because that person is bitter and older, especially they older than you, because that lady was old, way older than me. Even when they're older than you and they feel like they're not doing something with their life or they're not making any moves, they're gonna try to sabotage your moves. So don't tell nobody your plan. So tip number 12, mind your business. Okay. I I feel like in the world of social media, we constantly have what everybody else is doing in our face, to where in real life we're constantly minding other people's business, to the where it's so not healthy and it's actually weird obsessive behavior. For one, it's always nothing but half truths and consumptions in this world. Like, my rat ass coworker, she assumed that I was doing something that I wasn't doing, and then she ended up getting in trouble because all she could have did was mind her freaking business, and none of this would have happened, and we could have been on good terms. But she chose to not mind her business, but she herself over not only getting in trouble but burning bridges with somebody who could have been a potentially good coworker for her. We could have had a good co-working relationship. But besides that, I just feel like people who mind their business, they're prettier, they're more attractive, they're more successful, they're happier, and they live longer. Because minding your own not minding your business could get you in a messed up situation. It could make you die sooner, because you done told the wrong person, somebody's business, and you're getting half the truth, don't even know the full story, and you're just going around saying whatever you heard from somebody else. And I feel like as an adult, what somebody else does with their life has no effect on you. It has little to no effect on you. It doesn't pay your bills. It doesn't do anything for you to be worrying about what these celebrities are doing and all that. It's okay to know what's going on around you, but it honestly has little to no effect on you. So just keep that in mind. Like, it's okay to like look at what everybody else is doing here or there to know what people are doing, but you also got to be aware of what you're doing, and you got to put what you're doing before anything else. Fill your cup before you fill someone else's cup. If you're not good, how are you going to try to make sure everybody else is good? I feel like that's a very important lesson, and that's a lesson I had to learn the hard way, because everybody else is going to look after them. And that's why a lot of people feel, especially myself, like you feel like you're there for everybody else, but nobody's ever there for you, because you're always filling your cup. You're giving somebody your last $2, and don't have nothing for yourself. So you gonna starve and let the next person eat? They're not your children. So why are you doing that? It's okay to have a good heart, but at the end of the day, you are, like I said, you're responsible for your own life, and nobody else is going to make sure you're good the way that you are. There's only a very few people that are going to go out of their way for you, and like I said, very few people. Everybody else is going to look after themselves and pretty much put your feelings to the side and how you're doing to the side and look after them. So you got to look after yourself, and you got to learn to put yourself first and realize, like, if you're putting so many other people before you, they're going to use you, they're going to take advantage of you, and they're going to realize that and milk you dry. And that's what happened in like a few of my friendships. Your parents are getting older, so make time for them. I understand not everybody has a good relationship with their parents. Not everybody gets along with their parents. But I mean, whatever, I mean, so I think it's important to like realize, to really figure out what the differences were in your childhood and try to make things right. But not even on your end, their end too. But they are getting older, and they're not going to be around, for so long the older you get. So just try to make sure you make time for everybody in your life, not even just your parents. Don't take life for granted, because I know it's very heartbreaking to lose people that are closest to you. And this is a lesson that I still have to work on. This is still something I'm still working on, is trying to keep people close, because I am far away from my family. So I get wrapped up into what I'm doing with my life, and I forget to reach out. I forget to call, and I forget. And I don't want to do that, because my parents are only getting older. And I do care. I do love my parents. And if you love your parents, you need to show them that you love them, because it's only they're only getting older. 15. I'm only on 15. Put your plans into action. If you don't put your plans into action, you're gonna constantly be in the same state, complaining about what's going wrong in your life, complaining about not going anywhere in life, and that's where I am right now. I'm making little progress, but I could be making more progress if I put my plans into action. And that's why I said, don't talk about it, be about it. Like, grow up. Grow up. Seriously, grow up. If you constantly talking about doing this thing and year after year happens and you're not doing it, grow up. You're an adult. Like, be responsible for your destiny. Like, come on now. God is only giving us for so much time. Pretty much like putting your plans into action, and don't settle. Don't settle for less. Like, if you know you're worth way more than what you're settling for, job wise, friendship wise, relationship wise, don't settle. If you settle, you're only going to be unhappy. You're only going to waste your time. Like, I feel like right now at this job, am I really wasting my time? Yes, because I've been at this job for way too long, and I know I'm not happy, and I know there's so many ways I could be making money, but why am I working at Walmart? Please explain that. Please explain that. Like, come on now. This one, I'm kind of 50-50 about, but learn to love unconditionally. Just because you disagree with your loved one doesn't mean that the relationship or the friendship is not going to work. We have to realize as people that everybody's different, and we're not going to always agree on something. We just got to differentiate between what's unhealthy for a relationship and what's something that's just a difference, you know? Just because somebody may like a certain song that you don't like doesn't mean that y'all can't be cool, you know? Like, just don't play that stuff around me. But I still love you. Like, with you, and your friendships, I had to learn to differentiate between, sometimes with friendships we're gonna have our disagreements, but that doesn't mean that we're gonna that is the end of the friendship. It doesn't mean we gotta throw shade at each other on social media. It doesn't mean that we're better than that. You know, we just disagreed on something, and it's okay to live in y'all disagreements. It's okay to call each other out, and it's okay to be different. It's okay to be different, especially in a relationship. It's okay to be different, and it's okay to still love that person, is still rock with them the same way, just because you may not agree with some things that they did or said, especially if it's not really affecting your relationship. But learn to differentiate to where it's a healthy difference and just a regular different, or it's different as in keep this person needs to say that. And this goes into my next one: healthy conflict is okay. Like I said, people are going to disagree. That's part of life. People are, you know, our differences is what helps each other grow. So it's okay to respect somebody else's point of view. Even if you don't agree with it 100%, you got to kind of learn to understand it's not a great, sometimes it's a gray area between right or wrong, or how y'all view stuff, because people have their reasons as to why they view things differently, because everybody lives a different life. So you got to understand to respect people's differences and have a healthy conflict. Like when you disagree with somebody, why? Okay, why do you feel this way and why do they feel that way? And y'all can either agree to disagree, but that doesn't mean that there's beef. Because if everybody was the same, the world would be boring. It would be nothing to learn if everybody was the same person. Like, there's not going to be a bunch of calandras walking around. There's not. Nobody, like, it's only one me. Okay? So I know I'm different from other people, and I embrace that, because like, if you try to change yourself for other people, then who really are you? You're not an individual and they're not an individual. So it's okay. Like, if y'all are different about something, that just shows that y'all are who y'all are. Y'all are living in y'all truth, is a good one. Go back to your roots. Because I understand we grow out of certain things when we're, as we're going on with life, but sometimes we don't really grow out of stuff. We just kind of forget about it. But like, once we change so much, it's okay to like kind of like revisit something. Like lately I've been revisiting songs that I used to listen to when I was younger, like old 90s R&B, early 2000s. Like, I used to love that, and I've been listening to it a lot lately because it just brings me back to a place of youth, of when life was easy. And yeah, like, songs, they may fade or whatever, but some songs are actually very timeless, depending on who you are or how you feel about certain music, I guess. But some songs are actually very timeless. And, there's some things that you don't really change completely. Like, you're still practically the same person. And some things we may just forget about. Some things we just don't do anymore because we're so busy evolving and going with the times. But you may look back at your old pictures and you're just like, I like that I wore that. Let me find something today that kind of goes with what I wore back then. And then it's kind of more personalized because nobody's really wearing it but you. But you love that thing. You know what I'm saying? And it could even be a cultural thing too. Like, I realize, like, my dad is Creole. So, as of lately, it's like I want to go to Louisiana and learn more about my culture, especially from my dad's side, because it is an interesting culture. You know what I'm saying? And that's just reflects on who I am as a person and where I came from. And I just think it's very interesting to like visit your roots, whether it's a culture thing or where you're from, because I just think it's a very humbling, heartwarming thing to do. 21 is be vigilant because the world is dangerous. What I say no more? Like, can I say no more? As an adult, you're responsible for your safety and your children's safety and the people around you. So just be careful. Okay, things are dangerous these days. Like, and Trump is president again. So be careful. Know your worth is kind of like the same thing with don't settle. If you know that that person is not treating you well, why are you still in that relationship? You know you want to be treated better than that. So why are you allowing that? You're worth $1 million. Why are you dealing with 1 cent? Okay. Take risk. It kind of goes into, you see how I was kind of running out of ideas a little bit. So I'm kind of milking it a little bit. But if you still here, I fuck with you. Like, you cool. You the homie. You the big homie if you still here. But take risk, it kind of goes with what did I say? To put your plans into action. But take risk is more so just living life. Like, things that you probably are afraid of may end up, being something that could really benefit you, or just open your perspective about life. Like, oh, I may look at a roller coaster because I'm honestly not much of a roller coaster person, but some roller coasters I look at and I'm like, it's kind of scary. And then I get on it and I have the best freaking time of my life. So yeah, it's okay to take healthy risk. You know what I'm saying? We're going to take a risk regardless in life. So it's okay to take a little bit of risk, even financially, to make a better investment, if that makes sense. Like, make that investment that may change your life. So yeah, do I need to say more? Another one, to stop age shaming, because it's pointless, it's useless, it's stupid. It's like, why are you making fun of somebody for how old they are when they're just living life? And this stupid light keeps going out, and I'm charging it, but I don't think I'm supposed to have it on while I'm charging it. But it's just like, you plan on living, right? You plan on keeping yourself alive. I'm just gonna have to deal with it. Okay. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry. Let me try to make it a little bit better. Okay. This is my ring light. Yeah, you plan on living life, right? You plan on trying to be alive in you plan on living a long life, right? So, every year you're gonna get older. Your birthday is gonna come, you're gonna get older. You're gonna be 21 for 1 year. So why are you making fun of somebody for being 28? Or why are you constantly being like, oh, this person's old, why are you doing that? And I get it, like, people be doing some childish ass stuff, at their big age. And I feel like at your big age, you should differentiate between something's too immature, or I'm just living life and being me. And people don't realize, like, the older you get, the more you grow into who you are as a person. So maybe that person, that 30-year-old lady that's wearing colorful clothes, maybe she realized that that's who she is, and that's what she likes to do. She likes to wear color. And she may have been afraid to do it in her 20s, but now that she's 30, she doesn't care what people think, and she's going to wear the colorful hair, the colorful whatever. And y'all making fun of her and being like, oh, she too old for that. Like, I'm sorry, am I supposed to be a wrinkly, shriveled and die at 30? Like, what? You know what I'm saying? Like, am I supposed to be like that old lady on SpongeBob at 30 years old? Cause why y'all be acting like 30 is just a old age? It's adult. Like, I look like this at 28, and y'all be telling me I look young and this and that. But I'm 28. Obviously, I'm not too old to look the way that I look. So, I mean, maybe I'm just not old enough to look a certain way. Maybe God doesn't want me to look a certain way. And older people be good looking, okay? They know what works for them. They know their style. They grow into their appearance, their body frame and all that. And y'all are making fun of people for being old, or I don't want to be 30 and I don't want to be 25. I'm getting up there, and I feel you. I feel you, but at the same time, it's you got to accept that you're going to age. It's, as long as you're alive, you're going to get older by the second. I'm sorry to tell you, but there's nothing wrong with aging. That just means, hey, I made it. I'm alive still. Like, come on now, what the hell? Save and invest your money. I'm telling myself this because, bitch, I be spending like a motherfucker. I'm a shopaholic. But yeah, save and invest your money. Save and invest your money. Save and invest your money. We gotta save first and then you invest, okay? Because investing could be stocks, investing could be properties, anything to get that generational wealth, because you need the generational wealth. You don't want your grandkids to be struggling. So you are responsible for that. You know, as you become an adult, it's you're responsible for the destiny of your not only yourself, but your generations after you. So I mean, you should save and invest something, some land, something, bruh. Like, come on now. Like, you telling me all you've done with your money is just save it? Like, okay, you gotta save, because like saving is good. Saving is great. You could save up and buy a house. You could save up and go on a trip to Japan or something. Like, you're not gonna be able to do that if you don't save your money, especially if you're making like $10 an hour. Like, come on now. So save your money and invest your money. Be responsible with your money because you're an adult. And that's what you gotta do. You can't be immature, you know, or you're just not going to get nowhere. Okay, you're not going to get anywhere. Learn to detach. Learn to detach. Learn to detach. The gift of goodbye. And, you know, I don't know how to explain it. Life just keeps going. When something doesn't work out between maybe you and an old friend, and you see that friend is going on about life like you never existed, because life keeps on going. But you never know how people really feel. Like, it may seem like, oh, that person is so much happier, but you know, it could be faking the funk. You never know. But it doesn't really matter, because if somebody could do you so dirty, or people could do you and treat you any type of way, don't be stuck on that. You know what I'm saying? Because they're not stuck on that. So don't you be stuck on that. Like, just take it as a lesson and move on and do better. Like, just take it as a lesson. Like, okay, I allowed this person to play in my face, but people are not going to continue to play in my face, and it is what it is. Like, but you have to learn to detach. And even if you miss that person, y'all split up, y'all stop being friends or whatever for a reason. Or that job fired you, they fired you for a reason. Maybe it's something you did wrong and something you could, apply to further jobs. Or, maybe that job just wasn't meant for you. Like, you're probably gonna be way happier without that job, but you're just sad about it at the moment because, you're worried about money and how you're gonna survive financially. And I get that. But you gotta learn to detach, because nothing in this life is 100% permanent. So you gotta learn to detach and let things go, because that's how life is. You gotta learn to let things go. No matter how bad it affects you, you gotta keep moving. Deep down inside, you may know like you're gonna miss that person or you're gonna miss that thing, but they have a place in your heart. So I think I'm missing 22 and 27. I don't know. Was I overlooking? I don't know. I don't know what I was doing. Maybe I was tired. But anyway, these two tips are important. So one of them is learn to be alone. I cannot stress this enough. I've made tons of videos about why I'm an introvert and why I like to be alone. And I just think learning to be alone is calming, is peaceful. My mind is not filled with other people's thoughts and other people's complaints and what other people are going through. I like to be alone because when I'm alone, I'm stuck with my own thoughts, and that could be a dangerous thing for people who have mental health problems and people that just don't like to be alone. But trust me, when you learn to enjoy being alone, it's no harm in that. Now, yes, we do get lonely. I think it's part of life. Like, we're supposed to be social. We're supposed to have people in our lives. So I'm not saying you just got to be alone all the time, but just learn to be alone every once in a while, and that's okay. Like, it's okay to have friends. Like, it's okay to seek social, social environments. It's okay. But, I've learned to be alone because I had no choice at times. Like, I had no friends at some point. And my husband was military, so he was deployed, and I was just by myself. And I know it sucks. It can be boring, but at the same time, I learned so much about myself. I learned what I want out of life. I learned what kind of person I am and what I'm willing to deal with and just all types of stuff. And my house was clean. So, I mean, being alone is not the end of the world. And even going a little like solo dates, like just learn to just kind of, sometimes people just be on some weird stuff. And I just feel like I need my space. I don't like to be around people 24/7, but that's just me. I just feel like as an adult, if you're grown, I mean, being around everybody, it's pointless. Like, you already have to be around people when you're at your job. Like, come on now. So that's another thing. Human interaction is definitely needed though in life. I'm not saying don't interact with people. I'm just saying it's okay to be alone from time to time. Another one is money is limitless. There's so many ways to make money. I just think the government is constantly taking away resources for us to thrive, which is the problem here in America. And I think also, like, people will only do what they allow themselves to do. And it's just all about discipline, time management, and all of that stuff. And it really depends on you, like what you're feeling inside and what you have the capacity to do. But like outside of your job, you could do DoorDash, you could do Uber Eats, you could do Instacart. Like, there's so many ways to make money. Even if it's not a lot, just a little extra can help with so much. Like, you could have extra for gas, extra for food, extra for activities. So just surviving on one source of income, I don't think anybody should in 2024 and 2025. Like, I don't think anybody should. I don't want to be like that. You know what I'm saying? Yes, I have a job, but I want to do plenty of other things. And there's so many things that you could do. You could do Airbnb. Like, there's so many things. I just think we lack resources, and we're constantly drained, working at these jobs, fulfilling somebody else's life, or fulfilling somebody else's dreams rather than our own, just for the bare minimum. You know what I'm saying? A regular 9 to 5 is not going to make you rich unless you know what to do with that money, unless you invest that money into something else that's going to make you rich. I just think a 9 to 5 is a stepping stone, but it just depends on where you work at. But no matter how much you make, I just think anybody who's successful, anybody that's a millionaire or billionaire, has several sources of income. And I think money is limitless depending on how much you're willing to work. Anything you do is a hustle, but some things may feel harder than other things. It really just depends on you. So yeah, I'm just not going to settle for less when it comes to money. I'm tired of just settling for a job. I don't know about you, but I'm going to push myself further, and I encourage y'all to do the same thing. And I feel like it's just a room for everybody to eat. So that gatekeeping stuff. Okay, so yeah, that's that. Up with footage that I'm missing. So I'm gonna go back to where I was in the video. So yeah, I look different, but I'm gonna go back to looking how I was looking. And don't take nothing for granted, because it's always gonna be somebody who has less things than you. And as Thanksgiving is right around the corner, I think this is a good pointer, and it's the last pointer. It's number 28. That's how old I am. So yeah, learn to take nothing for granted. You could be thankful for simple things like being able to afford gold-plated jewelry. There's some people that would love some gold-plated jewelry. Okay, they want to make that little statement in an outfit, or whatever. I'm just saying stuff. But don't take nothing for granted. Like, this bed I'm laying on, there's some people that don't got a bed. You know what I'm saying? And I've been without a place, without a roof over my head before. It's a stressful thing to go through. I've been without a car. I don't want to feel like that again. Like, I feel like once we get a little inch of success or a little inch of simplicity, we forget what it's like, especially if we have struggled before. We forget what it's like to not have that thing. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, don't get lost in the sauce. And you got to realize, like, there's people that go without day-to-day basis, like being able to have water, being able to afford to eat. Like, little things like that is a luxury, because some people don't have that. There's some countries that don't have that. Being able to have electricity, being able to be on a phone, $1,000 phone. You know, some people cannot have, like, anything can be taken away from you. A person, a thing, an animal, a job. Like, I be upset, pissed off that I gotta go to work. But some people actually need a job. You know, some people don't have no options. Like a little fucking job like Walmart that pays 17 an hour, you know, somebody could that could change somebody's life. You know what I'm saying? And it can honestly change my life too, the way I if I go about it a certain way. But but I have to be thankful at the end of the day that I even have a job. Even if that job is affecting me mentally, it's still helping me pay bills, it's still helping me get the things that I want in life. So it's just like you got to learn to not take stuff for granted. Okay? Cuz you never know how bad it is without certain things. You just don't realize it. Like even waking up every day to breathe is no, people are not everybody is able to do that, you know? So don't take life for granted, don't take your time for granted. You know, take everything in and just enjoy what you have. And that's it. That's the video. Hopefully y'all enjoyed that. I enjoyed filming it. It's kind of long. I feel like I'm tired. It's like 2 in the morning. I'm just talking, but I enjoyed this. I really enjoyed this. I love talking. I love, giving my little 2 cents on things. Yeah, I had fun. I don't know about y'all, but I had fun. And let me know if you want me to do something else like this. But I'm running out of storage though, so I'm gonna have to. All right, y'all. Thank y'all for watching this video. I'll see y'all in my next one. Peace out.